early a.m., 1:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast in the United States of America. I'm T-Speaker 222 with the ISO headquarters. So this is a bit of breaking information. They released a global payments newsletter for January 2022, and this is from January 28, 2022. So, key developments of interest over the last month. We have Hong Kong, HKMA issues discussion paper on blah, blah, blah. So, regulatory developments. Hong Kong issues discussion paper on crypto and stablecoins. On January 12, 2022, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, HKMA, issued a discussion paper on crypto assets and stablecoins. The discussion paper includes some principles for a potential regulatory regime for payment-related stablecoins, the Payment Systems and Stored Value Facilities Ordinance, PSF-VFO, created a licensing regime, stored value facilities such as a prepaid cards, and e-wallets. However, in practice, many types of stablecoins do not fall under the definition of stored value facility. For example, where there is no undertaking by the issuer to use the stablecoin as a means of payment to third parties, such as a stablecoin will not be regulated under PSF-VFO, even if it operates in a manner similar to that of regulated store value facility. Recognizing the gross adoption and rapid involvement of crypto assets and the gaps in existence regulations, the HKMA proposes in the discussion paper to introduce a new regulatory framework for payment-related stablecoins which are asset-linked, for example, those which are pegged to fiat currencies, e.g. USD, commodities, e.g. gold, or other financial assets, as opposed to algorithm-based stablecoins, for example, those which maintain value via protocols that provide for changes in the supply of stablecoins in the response to changes in demand. According to the discussion paper, under the new regime, certain activities relating to payment-related stablecoins, such as the issuance of coins, management of reserve assets, redemption of coins, and execution of transactions, will be regarded as regulated activities, and any person who carries out such activities or actively markets to the public of Hong Kong such as activities will be required to be licensed by the HKMA. In order to be licensed, such person must satisfy certain requirements, such as maintaining adequate financial resources, having controllers and directors that are fit and proper, and ensuring the stabilization mechanism is effective and reliable. So then that's the feedback. So Ireland, there's a bunch of them, but I want to go through a few of them. So Ireland Central Bank publishes Dear CEO letter on supervisory expectations for payment in e-money firms. On December 9, 2021, the Central Bank of Ireland published a Dear CEO letter setting out its supervisory expectations for payment in e-money firms. In the letter, the central bank highlights 7 areas of priority in relation to the supervision of these types of firm: governance and risk management, conduct and culture, safeguarding business model and financial resilience, operational resilience, financial crime and resolution and wind-up. So with the due regard to the content of this letter, the central bank expects firms to undertake comprehensive assessment of their compliance with safeguarding obligations under Regulation 17 of the Payment Service Regulation 2018 and Regulations 29 to 31 of the Electronic Money Regulations 2011, and II, the conditions of their authorization, a board-approved attestation confirming the completion and conclusion of this assessment must be provided to the central bank by March 31st, 2022. So, United Kingdom Payment System Regulator publishes its final 5-year strategy. So, these are the strategies. Access to the payment systems that meet everyone's needs, protection for people and businesses making payments, effective competition in payment services, efficient and commercially sustainable payment systems. So there's a lot of things that you can see where we're implementing, and we're starting to, all these central banks are putting in their regulations or guidance. So Ireland Central Bank publishes final cross-industry guidance on operational resilience in December 1st, 2021. So this is the central banks. There's Ireland central banks. Indonesia, new payment system launched on December. We're going to go through the main ones. On December 21st, December 2021, Bank Indonesia announced the launch of the Bank Indonesia Fast Payment BiFast system. The BiFast system is intended to create a more efficient retail payment system infrastructure that provides fast, affordable, secure, and reliable economic and financial transactions, while also strengthening the national payment system industry and helping to build an integrated, interoperable, and interconnected digital economy that fosters innovation. The new system will be available 24/7. So, Hong Kong amendments to the HKAB Code of Banking Practices. So, we already talked about Hong Kong. I want to see if we can find any that have already pushed into some of their stuff. So, we got the European Union that's talking about the same things. Let's see. Ooh, this is what I want to read this. So, Global FSB publishes report on remittance corridor risk. On December 13, 2021, the Financial Stability Board, FSB, made available a September 21st report proposing a draft frameworks and methodology for assessing risk in remittance corridors and identifying safe remittance corridors. The draft frameworks is the first action under Building Block 7 of the FSB's Roadmap for Enhancing Cross-Border Payments, which aims to promote safe payment corridors. Building Block 7 has two phases: the development of a framework and methodology for assessing AML/CFT risk as remittance corridors, and the identification of potential low-risk corridors. The proposed framework is then expected to be piloted in some corridors with a view to testing and further refining the assessment methodology. The report reaches a number of conclusions, including that based on the corridor risk assessment conclusions, certain remittance activities can be insulated and designated as a safe remittance corridor. Establishing the lower risk nature of the remittance corridor would allow prioritization of risk mitigation measured employed by remittance service providers, their banks, and correspondent banks. For safe, low-risk remittance corridors, the customer due diligence requirements can be simplified in a risk-based manner. The corridor risk assessment conclusion may also be used to exempt remittance providers from some AML/CFT requirements. So India also releases its offline digital payments. I got some people in India here, so I could read this. India RBI releases framework for offline digital payments. On January 3rd, 2022, the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, published its framework for facilitating small value digital payments in offline mode, which will allow for payment transactions which do not require internet or telecom connectivity. Under the new framework, payments can be conducted face-to-face using cards, wallets, mobile devices, and other methods. These transactions will not require an additional factor of authentication. Alerts by SMS and or email will be received by the customer after a time lag. Transactions are subject to a limit of 200 rupees per transaction and overall of 2,000 rupees for all transactions. Customer consent is required to enable the offline payment method. Customers will also have protection under the Reserve Bank circulars limiting customer liability and recourse to the Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. Offline transactions are expected to boost digital transactions in an area with poor internet or telecom connectivity. The new framework is applicable with immediate effect and incorporates comments received from pilots conducted in 2020 and 2021. The Bahamas Central Bank consults on check elimination. On December 28, 2021, the Central Bank of Bahamas announced that it is beginning a consultation on its strategy to eliminate the use of checks in the Bahamas with a view of fully eliminating the domestic use of checks by 2024. Sri Lanka Central Bank extends incentives for inward remittance. As reported in December 2021 Global Payments newsletter on December 1st, 2021, it was announced that the Central Bank of Sri Lanka would be paying an incentive of 8 Sri Lanka rupees per US dollar for workers' remittance, in addition to the existing incentive of 2 Sri Lankan rupees under the incentive scheme on onward workers' remittance. The incentive scheme was initially set to launch December 31st, 2021, but the Central Bank of Sri Lanka announced on December 24th, 2021 that it will be extended to January 31st, 2022. And then this is the last thing I want to read because I know it's getting long. So let's read through this real quick. Global BIS publishes report on interoperability between payment systems across borders. On December 10, 2021, the Bank for International Settlement, BIS, published a report on the interoperability between payment systems across borders. The report starts by noticing that cross-border interoperability is needed to make cross-border payments faster, cheaper, and more accessible. The report goes on to note that global coordination is needed in order to promote interoperability. For example, while the ISO-20022 system promotes interoperability, domestic implementation of the new system varies across jurisdictions. The The report then sets out 4 potential interoperable cross-border payment systems and discusses some of the advantages and the disadvantages of each. Simple access point: participants in one domestic system has access to a foreign system through a single gateway entity. For example, a payment service provides P2P, peer-to-peer, that operates in both systems. Despite simplicity and low cost, a single access point has scalability limitations. Bilateral link: participants in one system can directly reach all participants in a foreign system. Transactions between linked systems are typically settled through accounts that peer-to-peers in each system hold with their counterparts in the other system. In this setup, both systems must address the 3 interoperability attributes. For example, if the AML/CFT rules and procedures of the linked systems are misaligned, one or both systems must either change its rules or find a technical solution. Establishing a bilateral link can be relatively cost-effective and serve as an interim step towards a more centralized approach. However, a large number of bilateral links results in complex processes, as multiple interoperability arrangements must be maintained. Hub and spoke or multilateral link: using a common settlement agent, the hub participants in one system can directly reach all participants in 2 or more foreign systems. The spokes, the inter-system accounting, clearing, and settlement, are carried out by the common settlement agent. The hub, with which participants in each system hold their settlement account. The attributes relevant for interoperability in this model are the same as for bilateral links, except for the added complexity of applying to 3 or more jurisdictions, including dividing standardized and harmonized structures. In this model, a hub would need to be set up from scratch, with the cost varying according to the functions offered. And then finally, and then I'll let you guys go, common platform: participants from one jurisdiction can directly reach participants in other jurisdictions through one common payment system, which runs on a single integrated technical platform. As a common platform requires the harmonization of many attributes, it is technically the most complex model, since it does not interlink existing systems but requires a new fully fledged payment system to set up. The only interoperability issue concerns the participants who need to establish a link to the new central entity. The model is the costliest up front because of the initial investment, as well as the need to ensure operational resilience and to address single point of failure risk. At the same time, it offers extensive scalability options and the greatest long-running efficiency. Stay blessed, everybody. Hashtag be better, do better. It's been an honor, and let's continue this push.